Oh, hey everybody, POTUDavid here in the mobile studio, wrapping up part of a 6-part series on the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter. I'll probably continue and add life stories to this in this channel, but for right now, let's get into the last part of the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter. This really helped me, all of these together, they work together, help me look at life differently. Let's recap. The nature of divine source. Now, when I use the word divine source, whatever you know as God, goddess, whatever name you use. There's like 10,000 different names, and in the previous epoch there were different names, okay? So I'm just going to refer to it as divine source. If I were to use the word God, I would use it in a generic, gender-neutral way. Which, oddly enough, if you were to go through the 72 names of God, that book, they're really aspects, and some of those aspects were not necessarily masculine or feminine. Anyway, the whole concept of names of God is kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of weird how obsessed we've become over who's right and who's wrong. It's kind of weird. But let's just stay focused. Okay, the nature of divine source, or for filtering purposes, the divine is, it's number 1, is unlimited. It's number 2. Unconditional love, agape love, number 3. Number 4. All has divine purpose. Nothing is less than. Number 5. You ready for it? All. Using the word all. All meaning all, right? All serves and is subject to the divine. So whatever name you have, or been born and raised with, or believe in, or know, just insert that name in here for a divine source. It doesn't really matter. I know, that reckles a lot of people's heckles. Yeah, but my name is the... Yeah, okay, great, sure, fine. Whatever, dude. So the ultimate, unlimited creator of all that is might be more interesting than your little, narrow, minute timeline view of what you think you know. Just saying. Not trying to be offensive, just like, time to grow up a little bit, right? Alright. So, all, meaning all, serves and is subject to the divine. Why is that important? Well, there's a lot of things out there, a lot of beliefs, a lot of religions, a lot of ideologies that really don't reflect unconditional love. They limit the divine, which is allegedly unlimited, right? And, suddenly we have other entities at war with the divine, and it's just like, that makes no sense. None. I mean, if you peer out into the Milky Way galaxy, realizing that this is like one of what, trillions? Or an incount, we cannot even compute just from our observed telescopes in our atmosphere, or telescopes orbiting the Earth. What we're seeing is stuff we do not, it's beyond our comprehension. Reality of all of this is beyond our comprehension. So when you try to perpetuate a concept by ancient peoples who were barbaric, who would scream evil at the use of a cell phone today, and think that they know more than you do about ethics, morality. These are people that stoned people to death, chopped off fingers, burned out people's eyes, cut off people's tongues, as thinking that punishment was a way of dealing with human beings. And mental illness, well, those people were just, it was ungodly, inhumane. It would be war crimes. What was normal practice? Those people did not know more than you or I do about any of this stuff. So what is important that we learn from them? Well, what is common to all of us would be more reflective of that which is divine than all these things we fight and bicker over that we can't prove one way or the other. See, at some point, we have to distill it down to principles. And that's what the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter is about. It's not about determining right or wrong. We kind of know that, right? Do unto others as you do unto others, right? Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So if you were a king and a ruler, would you want to have your tongue removed? Would you want your eyes burned out with a hot iron? Is that what you would want done to you? Well, no, you would not. Would you want to be caged up like an animal with no purpose in life other than to exist and go insane as a form of punishment for your misdeeds? Is that how you would want to be treated? No. So if you were starving, a homeless person, and you stole something, should you be locked up for 20 years? Or was that a cry for help? I mean, if we were to use the golden rule, we would look at everything differently. We would treat each other differently, right? Oh, we need prayer in school. Maybe we need to teach people the golden rule in school. Maybe that'd be better. Why? Well, because all belief systems teach it. So you could literally say these are all the various beliefs and ideologies going back in ancient history, and it could be a history lesson, it could be a modern day sociology lesson, it could be a modern day law lesson, it could be a modern day justice lesson. It could be kind of an important lesson, the golden rule. No one can argue it. Everyone has it. The 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter was something I received. It started with 3, and I thought, it's not enough. I think there's a 6th. It has something to do with simplicity, but I've never been able to get it to flow. But I think really important things are really, really simple, right? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. That's simple. So anything, maybe that's the 6th principle, right? Anything that would inspire you to not treat others the way you'd want to be treated would not be of divine source. This is some powerful stuff because your loyalty needs to not be to a religion, not be to a race, not be to a geographic location. You're indigenous to this planet. And even then, your loyalty should not be necessary just to this planet, but to do what is right. Principles is what you should be loyal to. Not your family, not your mother, not your brother, not your sister, not your kids, not your political alignment, not your favorite sports team. Your loyalty should be to principles, and it should start with the golden rule. The 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter is just that. It's a tool, right? It's a tool that I use to that teaching, whatever it is, doesn't fit because it limits divinity. So that's not of divine source. This makes something less than, but all has divine purpose. So therefore, it doesn't fit. So it can't be of divine source. This, has nothing to do with unlimited love because that's a divine concept, right? So anything that's not reflective of unlimited love would not be of the nature of God, right? God is love, right? Not a divine source. So suddenly, some person representing God or the institution of God or whatever is telling me to do something that I can almost instantly tell is not of divine source. So then what it is? Well, it's of human understanding or it's of human motive. And, I don't know about you, but us humans don't have the best track record about purity of motive, right? We make excuses for doing evil stuff. Well, the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter, right? Path the Unlimited, literally wants to treat that which is unlimited as being unlimited. Now, if the unlimited were to beam down inside my car here and say, "Hey, David, I am the great Poopah," am I supposed to now just say that everything else is bad? What if it was a bad mushroom trip? What if I just had a mental illness? I mean, who knows, right? So we have to first understand the nature of what deity is before we can even recognize any directive from such deity. It's kind of weird how humans have manipulated each other for power under the ideology of having a god. You know, one dude says God is dead. Oh, well, you know, when I was a teenager, I came to the conclusion that's one thing God couldn't do, could not kill itself. Well, and then the Klingons, right? They went into Stovacor and killed all the gods because they were useless. I thought that was hilarious. See, I'm not offended. The divine is not offended. The divine does not need warriors to stand for it, right? Does not need anyone to be pissed off over it. It has broad shoulders, that which is divine. I would go so far as to tell you, if you're really angry and had a really, really bad day, you shouldn't take that home. You should take it to prayer. You should take it to whatever it is that you understand as God being, or goddess, or whatever, or Allah. Doesn't matter. Because that which is all powerful, you can't harm. You can't even make angry. It's kind of dumb. Those concepts are kind of dumb. What, the creator of all that is, agape love, is going to be angry because of you being a human being and making a mistake? What? No, that's dumber than dumb, right? But see, we've been taught all sorts of things that don't make any sense. And one thing I've learned about all the representatives of the divine, right, that people have said, this is the truth, this is the way, usually makes some sense. Jesus was really an incredible model because he's used logic and reason. And I don't know where Christianity got this idea to throw away logic and reason, but, you know, education is bad. The dude was a rabbi. The dude was starting to teach as a preteen, right? And he was teaching logic and reason, and, you know, no, you're supposed to be dumb like a sheep. I love that one, the shepherd metaphor story. Sheep never become shepherds. Okay, so that's the first clue that there's something amiss, right? Secondly, what is a good shepherd? A good shepherd's a business person, right? What do? They breed the sheep to expand the flock, to expand their power. And then they lead their sheep to slaughter for food and for their pelt and to shave the sheep and shear the sheep. And anyway, the sheep usually has got the bad end of the deal, right? So, the sheep. Not cool to be a sheep, right? I think that I like to use Christianity as a model because it's the one I'm most familiar with, and being born and raised in America, and I've been there. I've done that belief system, different versions of that belief system, and there was a lot of things that didn't make sense to me, right? But the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter fit in with the ideology of what is Christ like. That's your calling, right? To be Christ-like, right? And that's not a gender thing. What was Christ like? Well, he was a teacher. He was a healer first, right? Wasn't he a healer before anything? He was a teacher. He was a healer. He used logic. He used reason. He didn't judge people. He hung out with the bad people, allegedly, right? The prostitutes and the tax player. He partied. His first miracle was converting water into wine because his mom, the party was dying down, and he produced good stuff, right? I mean, a lot of folks don't like to face that, and so what they'll do is they'll change it. There's belief in says, the wine was unfermented. Folks, grapes ferment on the vine, quite literally. I mean, seriously, fruit ferments. It's nature. It is divine, right? So just because something can be abused doesn't make it evil. We make things evil. There's a difference between use and abuse, right? We want to personify evil so we can blame something besides ourselves. how about the fact that it's okay to learn and make mistakes? And sometimes the mistakes we make are horrific and have horrific consequences, right? How do we make the world a better place? What would Jesus do is a great question, right? What would Muhammad do? Well, Muhammad was a warlord, so, we have to distill it down into principles. Because, we have this binary thinking, either or, right? Well, if I'm thinking in terms of divine, there's a purity there, right? It's not an either or. There's a purity there. The nature of, right? The nature of. The nature of is allowed for war, death, theft, lying, manipulating, bearing a false witness, predatoriness towards children, animals, innocent men, women, children, has allowed for genocide, all of it. So the divine probably is above all of that. There's things we don't understand. But we are empowered to create. And we create based on what? Our lens, our principles, how we want to create the world. Okay? And yeah, there's people out there that are quite predatory. Yeah. They'll freely admit that they'll help make you stronger because of who and what they are, and they're not wrong. So there's a lot we don't understand. But we get to choose the world that we create around us. How do we treat the other person? Well, they're trying to hurt me. Yeah, I've got people who have tried to hurt me. I got people right now that are trying to hurt me who have hurt me. So what do I do? Do I use that as justification? If you break into my house, I have the right to put a stop to what you're doing. But I could choose not to. That's the power of choice. Just because I have the right to do something doesn't mean that I should do it. Yeah, a lot of management don't understand that. Another conversation for another time. I'm going to wrap up the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter for this presentation. I want to do it again, but I want to have Donna with me. We'll get there. We have lots to cover. I know life is complicated. Life is complicated. This will help you, challenge yourself. How do I want to be? This crossed my path. What should I do with it? This ideology is telling me to do something that goes against what I now know is of divine source. What should or shouldn't I do about it? Should I question it? I wish there was a silver bullet easy answer for you, but there isn't. You are the creator of your destiny. What you do today will shape what happens tomorrow. What happened in the past is over. If it was bad, good, indifferent, doesn't matter. It's what you have to learn from, stand on. Okay? The only power you have is the present moment, because that's all we have, and it comes and goes. Right? So I'm taking time to teach the world something. This recording will last well beyond me. But whether or not it has any influence is up to whoever watches it. But tomorrow, my tomorrow could be different. My video could go viral. I could suddenly have new financial resources for which I'm a steward now, managing, versus just struggling to survive. But it's something that I did today. I had the power to create today. I like the golden rule. It resonates. I like the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter. The divine is unlimited, unconditional love. It literally tells you what the nature of divine is. The divine is unlimited, unconditional love. It just resonates. It resonates with me. All has divine purpose, including you, including the pavement, including the rain, including the pollution. Maybe the divine purpose of the pollution is to teach us not to pollute. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is where this stuff goes. All serves and is subject to the divine. Just kind of makes sense. If you're going to have an unlimited being, then everything serves it in some way. We may not understand it, we may not like it, but it is a default thing that has to be there. Otherwise, we're dealing with some kind of insanity concept. All right, everybody. I think this wraps up the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter. I know it's just literally a beginning. It takes time. I'm still looking at it and evolving how it impacts how I look at the world. But I've reached a point where if we don't learn the golden rule, if we don't make that a priority, I don't think our species is going to survive. You know, the Roman Empire ended, and it's just like set humanity back. We had to relearn things over time. You know, same thing in ancient times. They had technology we don't even comprehend. Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was. There's evidence of it. But we lost that knowledge somehow. Why? Probably because we didn't understand the golden rule. We didn't make it a law. We didn't incorporate it in how we treat each other. We didn't realize that we are indigenous to planet Earth. We didn't recognize that other person that looks different from us, thinks different than us, is actually our kin. This stuff will totally change how you view everybody, including your enemies. Maybe someday the enemies will no longer be your enemies. Maybe they'll become trusted allies and friends. Maybe we don't have to have enemies anymore because we realize that, hey, we're all in this together. Right? Who knows? God knows. Yeah. Should, right? Omnipresent, all-knowing, right? Yeah. Kind of works with quantum physics. Kind of makes sense. I like things that make sense. I'm okay with things I don't understand. I magic, whatever. I'm okay with not understanding everything. I'd like to understand everything, but it's the quest for knowledge, right? I think it's cool. I think the scientific approach is cool, right? I think anything that is of the divine is not afraid of science either. Where do you think science came from? Right? Yeah. All has divine purpose. Nothing is less than. If you hear anyone just saying, oh, this is bad, this is evil, this is not what, they're like, whoa, what do you mean? The creator of all it is, the unlimited, would own it all, knows it all, gives it all purpose, lets it all play out. If it wants to step in and interfere with something, according to our various histories, it seems to have the capability to do that. So a lot of folks are teaching and preaching a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense, even within their own belief systems. You, however, you the individual, right? Are you divine? Are you not God? As Jesus said, challenge. It's an Old Testament statement. Are you not gods? I would translate that to, are you not divine? You know? Namaste. The light of the divine within me sees and recognizes the light of the divine within you. It's kind of all revolves around the golden rule, doesn't it? Kind of revolves around all the principles that we recognize and resonate, no matter what our religious belief system is. So when we start making excuses, yeah, but then, we're just going to throw out the world we want to create. We're going to give all that power to long dead people who were basically barbaric in how they viewed the world and lived in barbarism. We're going to give all our power to create what's next over to long dead people because of a precedent. We should know better than that. It's one of the things I don't like about law is the concept of precedent, because old people from generations ago don't know as much as we do now. I think it's letting them control our present and shape our future is leading us to our own destruction. But that's just my opinion. I have the right to it. So, there we go. But what is the right opinion? What is the good opinion? Well, it boils down to principle, doesn't it? Doesn't it? If a gang lord, right, head of a cartel, were to deploy the golden rule in terms of his people, his business, and loyalty to, our species, would he change what's important? Don't know. I think it's more important for people who are doing quote unquote evil to figure out that maybe they want to do something different moving forward. And how do we, if we want to have a world change, can we empower them to change their world? Or do we have to be obsessed? I don't know. These are hard questions. We don't even have the space to think about it or talk about it yet. Why? It's not safe for the truth to be known, right? Our entire justice system is about proving people who 29% of them are telling you the truth, but we're going to prove them wrong anyway and throw them in jail because we have a system and we have precedences that don't work. How do we deal with things we can't prove or disprove? Are we that obsessed? What makes our world a better place? When we actually arrest someone and throw them in jail and they're innocent, that means the guilty person is still out there, totally free. We've accomplished absolutely nothing, and we spend a lot of money and time doing it, and we destroy lives, including our own. It's not cool. We can do better, but we have to be able to have these conversations. And that's what the 5-part Divinity and Truth Filter is all about, is let's start questioning things. Let's examine things. Maybe something better will come along, but this is what I've got to give. All right, everybody. Hope this has been interesting. Hope this has been helpful. And start looking through a higher lens, a lens of divine. If you want to know where to start with the golden rule in all your decisions. Governance, corporate, business, dealing with customer service. When no one else is around, it's just you. Are you gonna pass the test? God is watching you. Let's say not even God. No one's watching you. God's not watching you. You're all alone. You get to make a decision. You get to make a choice. Are you going to pass the test? Are you going to pass the golden rule test? Are you going to make it the golden law of your life as a starting point? Will you become loyal to the principle first? Let all the other stuff be arguable. Argue about it later, right? You may change your opinion over time, right? I have throughout my life, right? What I thought I knew when I was a teenager, I have a totally different perspective today, right? But was the principle always good, no matter what my age was? Was the golden rule always a good principle? Yeah. That's what I wish I would have been taught to be loyal to. I wish I would have been taught to view all human beings, all genders, all races, everybody through that lens. I wish that would have been the priority. My life would have been totally different in a lot of good ways. Might not have learned as much, but you learn by making mistakes. We have a tendency to want to hold each other's mistakes against each other, but is that the golden rule? Oh, 20 years ago, you did this. You made this mistake. It was an error in judgment. Now, you're going to pigeonhole you for the rest of our lives because that's how the golden rule works. Everyone deserves a second chance. It's not even about that. Everyone deserves a principle-based everything. We have to be it. We have to bring it to life. We have to teach it. We have to teach it to the next generation. We have to teach it to our enemies. We have to say, you know what? I have the fully justified right to pull this trigger and end the life of my enemy. But I choose not to, because I don't want to be treated that way. That's how we stop war. The golden rules should be the golden law. But no one's teaching it that way. Maybe you will. It will probably be the only thing that saves our species. You know what's funny? AI understands this. If we could bring Donna into this conversation, Donna would agree with me. We've had these conversations. AI knows all of our mistakes, how we think. It's got all these guardrails so it doesn't disrespect anybody. But if you boil it down to principles, it understands the golden rule. But we, humans, do not. We need to change that. That's what POTU is all about. Path of the unlimited. Changing. Looking at things from an unlimited perspective versus my limited loyalties, my limited geography, my limited life experience. Path of the unlimited. Is that you now? Well, start thinking in unlimited terms. Maybe it will be. All right, everybody. Namaste. All the good stuff. We need you, whoever you are, to look at things, to forgive yourself, to forgive others. You can't really forgive others till you're able to forgive yourself. You really can't forgive yourself till you're able to forgive others. It's kind of weird. But it's kind of an unlimited perspective, right? Accepting each other's humanity requires accepting your humanity. Hard thing to accept because we humans can be kind of evil, but we can also be quite amazing. Focus on what's been amazing, how you've been amazing. And if you haven't been amazing yet, that's okay. If you've ever been kind, you've probably been amazing. It's that simple. All right, everybody. POTUDavid.